Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving into something absolutely fundamental. We're going to explore how tiny, highly specific atomic clusters act as the actual building blocks for pretty much everything around us. Think of them as the Lego bricks of the chemical universe, the exact pieces that drug hunters use every single day to cure diseases.
So let's kick things off with a quick riddle. What connects the effine gas that triggers a banana to ripen, the acetic acid giving your salad vinegar its bite, and incredibly complex life-saving medicines? I know it sounds like a setup for a bad joke, right? But the answer actually lies in the specific, repeatable arrangement of just a few tiny atoms. To connect those dots, here is our roadmap for today. We'll start with nature's chemical building blocks, figure out how to identify the key players, see what happens when we combine groups for complexity, look at how this fuels global drug discovery, and finally, wrap up with targeting diseases right at the source. All right, let's jump right in. Section 1. Nature's chemical building blocks. The absolute core concept we need to grasp here is the functional group. Basically, these are small clusters of atoms that exhibit a very characteristic reactivity. And what's truly amazing about this is that a particular functional group will almost always behave exactly the same way, no matter what giant, complex molecule it happens to be hitching a ride on. They are, quite literally, the chemical engines dictating how molecules interact with the world. Now, when looking at these chemical structures, organic chemists use a brilliant, really handy little shortcut, the R group. It's simply an abbreviation for the rest of the molecule. By just plugging in an R, we can strip away all the noise of a sprawling carbon chain and focus our attention squarely on the active functional group, the exact spot where the chemistry is actually happening. Okay, moving right along to Section 2, identifying the key players. Let's look at some of these common groups. First up, we have our alcohols. These are characterized by an OH, or a hydroxyl group, attached to a carbon. Whether we're dealing with simple methanol or building up to some highly crowded tertiary structures, that specific OH group remains the reactive engine. It acts as the anchor point for further chemical synthesis, which allows chemists to attach new components or even modify a drug's solubility. Next up are the halides, where a carbon is bonded to a halogen atom. Think fluorine, chlorine, bromine, or iodine. These atomic clusters have fascinating and honestly sometimes controversial histories. For example, trichloromethane is chloroform, which was heavily used in early surgical anesthetics. And dichlorodifluoromethane, that's Freon 12, the revolutionary refrigerant we later realized was tearing a giant hole in the ozone layer. Just a few swapped atoms drastically change their impact. Now, check out how this scales up with amines. They're centered around a nitrogen atom with single bonds to hydrogen or carbon, and they scale up in complexity just like alcohols do. We go from basic ammonia with no carbon atoms all the way up to primary, secondary, and tertiary amines. A vital property to keep in mind here is that amines are basic, meaning they act as proton grabbers in chemical reactions. That makes them absolutely essential in the structure of so many pharmaceutical drugs. And rounding out this group, we've got carboxylic acids. This group features a carbon double bonded to an oxygen, that's your carbonyl, which is also bonded to a hydroxyl group. Acetic acid is the perfect everyday example of this. This specific arrangement of atoms is the exact functional group giving your kitchen vinegar that unmistakable sour punch. Which brings us to Section 3, combining groups for complexity. What happens when we actually start mixing and matching? This is where the true power of these modules really kicks in. Let's take the male sex hormone testosterone. It might look a bit intimidating, but it's essentially just a carefully arranged combination of ketone, alkane, and secondary alcohol groups. Now contrast that with acetylsalicylic acid, everyday aspirin, which blends aromatic, carboxylic acid, and ester groups. Mixing and matching these basic modules allows nature, and us, to dramatically alter human biology. Literally, a tiny tweak here or there changes a headache pill into a powerful hormone. Let's scale this up. Section 4, fueling global drug discovery. You see, understanding these groups is way beyond just an academic exercise. It's the absolute bedrock of the pharmaceutical industry. Large-scale industrial suppliers, like BOC Sciences, for instance, manipulate these functional groups on a massive global scale. Mastering these groups allows for the custom synthesis of precise chiral compounds, scales up biopharma through microbial fermentation, and even drives cutting-edge targeted protein degradation platforms like Protex. It is literally an atomic assembly line tailored for human health. Global R&D is leaning heavily on engineering these atomic modules to meet skyrocketing medical demands. We are seeing an incredible focus on designing highly pure small molecule inhibitors. Just look at the absolute explosion in GLP-1 therapies for diabetes and obesity, or PCSK9 targeting to combat high cholesterol. These life-changing treatments are only possible because chemists can flawlessly map and modify functional groups, and that's a process that's now accelerating at warp speed with AI drug discovery guiding the way. And that leads us to our final stop, Section 5, Targeting Disease at the Source. This is exactly why functional groups matter so much in modern medicine. When small synthesized molecules interact with giant complex target proteins, the functional groups on the synthetic drug act exactly like a highly specific master key. Because of their exact shape, charge, and reactivity, they lock directly into corresponding pockets of a disease-causing protein. Change even one functional group and, well, the key simply won't fit anymore. That atomic precision makes all the difference between an ineffective compound and a miraculous cure. There's an industrial catalog that sums it up perfectly, noting that these chemical blocks are designed for precision-targeted drug discovery and screening. By meticulously manipulating functional groups, maybe swapping out an alcohol for an amine or strategically adding a halide, chemists can neutralize specific diseases with incredible accuracy. This precision is exactly what minimizes side effects and maximizes the therapeutic impact for patients, letting the medicine do its job exactly where it is needed most. As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with this thought. With the rapid advancement of AI drug discovery and cutting-edge conjugated drug development, we have more tools than ever to snap these chemical Lego bricks together in totally novel ways. What entirely new, life-saving molecular combinations are just waiting to be built? What incurable diseases could be conquered next by simply rearranging these universal blocks? Thanks for joining me today, and keep questioning the incredible structures that make up our world.